Hello, this is the third video in a series of videos about um, comparing actuals to projections. I'm using a financial model example where we have a project finance model and we get some actuals. Suppose this could be a budget to actual kind of exercise. It wouldn't be all that different. I'm sitting somewhere where there's a very large ceiling, and I have received complaints about the quality of the noise and my horrible voice on these videos, but I hope it's going to be okay. Now, what I had a earlier video that just introduced the idea. This is step 3 of the videos. This is the third video where we're really going through. I'm going to change this around a little. We're just going to compare the actual numbers to the financial model numbers first, okay? And then we're going to make a little waterfall chart. That's what shows actuals and the components of what changed to get from actual forecasts, our original forecast, to the actual. And then we're going to make a graph, and we're going to use the match in the index to find the data in the graph and graph. Okay, so here's our original model. We have some data, and we're going to focus really on just the energy jet data in this case. It doesn't have to be electricity. This could be traffic data or something like that. Then we'll put in our prices, which could be varying from the actuals. And then we'll put in some actual expenses, and we'll focus right now on EBITDA, the real cash flow. This is what the banks would really focus on. Now, here is the example where we just get some real data. I made quite kind of a subtotals myself, but we get some real data. Here's something that's fairly important, is you want the titles on the actual to be the same as the titles on the forecast. That's kind of the only, for me, a reasonably important rule, because I'm just thinking if you have some additional cost or other costs, you could add a title in both of them. You might have to add a title somewhere, but in general, keep the titles themselves, and that's because of the match in the index. Now, once we have this, we can kind of select the year. In this case, we're going to compare the actual versus financial model forecast. Okay, and we can go and, kind of compare it here, and there we have some. What we'll do is, let's just take in the financial model, let's go and take the actual level of the EBITDA. Now, then let's make this to be a benefit when the actual is when the actual is better than the financial model. So I got to do this a little bit differently. So here was our actual revenue, and we'll subtract that from the financial model revenue for the same year. Okay. I suppose you could get more elegant with this and put a kind of match in the index in, and then let's say now when we do the operating expenses, we kind of want to do it backwards. We want to say, well, if the actual is less, that's a benefit. So we want that to be a positive number because the actual is less. Okay, and then we go down here, and then if you want, you can select this area and press alternate equal to get a total. If you could press Shift Control R, finish it, and then we could make sure that our EBITDA is the same as the one we have in our actual model. Shift Control R. Okay. If you Shift Control T and Shift Control F would kind of, they just do a little basic conditional format. Now once we have the number here, and what I did is I just made a drop-down box from the developer tab, and of course you need to go to another sheet and do a famous windscreen wiper method that somebody in my class from Russia told me about. And then we can take this and put match of this one against these numbers, and we'll get just something we can use together with an index. And then we can put index and select this area and put this number in, and then that's the same index we'll use for all the ones across. Now, if we're going to make a waterfall chart, it's really important to start, well, it's really important. It's important because I set the macro up like this. I hate doing these macros. I wish I could say that there was a really easy way to make a really nice looking waterfall chart where you could do it by hand, and you can get some of it, but number one, it takes a long time. Even if you do a basic kind of one, you gotta unhide all the stupid bars, and then to get the data labels is really the pain. And then if you got a negative, you put it in a different color than a positive. That's a little bit of a pain. It's getting loud. I'm pausing the video for a minute. Okay, now we're going to take the actual versus the forecast, and now on this line we just can take different years of actuals versus forecast. Needless to say, this could be quarters or months or anything else. Now to make our waterfall graph, this is going to be a little bit repetitive. If you've got the chapters, if you've got the Google Drive, you go to chapter number 1, folder number 12, Waterfall Final. If you're using the disk, you just go to this, hope I'm online, I might not be online. You just go down to the, in this whole horrible thing that doesn't have any fancy videos, doesn't have any big, oh no, it doesn't have any big stupid videos of me talking or anything. It was down there. I think the internet seems to be slow here. And then you just download this one called Waterfall Final. Okay? When you do that, let's do that. I haven't done that. Now I made a few minor changes yesterday evening. I fixed a bug in here. It took me 4 hours. It was just, oh man, and I was quite upset. I'm not going to say I swore, but maybe I did. Now what you do is you select this one, and this one has to have kind of a base value. The rest of them are incremental revenues. And then we could have this one called actual revenue. No, this is, I'll just leave that as subtotal. If there's a blank, it puts a blue chart there, a blue line, or you can change the colors, of course. And then the rest of the lines. So what you do is you select this area to show the actual versus forecast, and then press down here. It says Shift Control V, so you press Shift Control V, and you decide what you'd want. Now let's delete earlier graphs. The reason you want to delete the earlier graphs is let's make it dark blue. You might want to change the style. I have a default for Euro because I like Euro. And then we put commas, and then we have we can hide the sheet where the data is. Okay, and we make 3Ds hardly ever. We can include all the little values on the x-axis. It's probably a good idea to include the borders. I'm not going to put any grid lines on the chart. This is a really important one for seeing how the labels should be spaced. This is just how wide this connector box should be. These should be a little different, the same size, huh? Okay, and then you press this, and it takes a little while, and then we had a dark blue, so it does that. And then I changed this a little bit, so if you press enter, it goes back to the original sheet. If you want to leave it on this sheet, you just press any other key, like the space bar. I'll press number 1, so we leave it on the same sheet. And then you put an equal sign, and you can put whatever title you want. So I purposely kind of made a little title down here for our graph. And then you can go back to our sheet, and you can right click and copy our spinner button on here. I hope. Uh-oh. Okay, and we can put it next to the 2010, and we can see what happened in our other years to the EBITDA versus this. Now, the only problem with this is if it changes between the red and the other lines, there can be a problem. You know, I made these fairly close, so we have a little bit of a problem. We might want to do this whole thing, but I'm going to leave it for now. We might want to do this whole thing and space the bars a little bit further away. And if you wanted to space the bars further away, you'd press the Shift Control V, and that very bottom number that had 15, you would change that. I hope this isn't getting too loud. There's somebody loud back here. Okay. They should know that I'm making a video and speak quietly in this hotel lobby in Malaysia. Okay. Now, the other thing we can do, let's see how I'm doing on the time. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop on this one and just call this just the a waterfall chart. Okay.